Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Matthew, the 20th chapter. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And so, well, let's read through the parable a bit more, and then we'll go through it. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. Because in the ancient world, that's how it was, right? You would go to the marketplace, people would be buying and selling. You might have children playing around, and you might have people, workers, right, looking for work, whether it's to be a hired servant, right, a hireling, a husbandman, work for hire. And so you would have some people looking for workers. They would go there, they would see people, they would ask them, hey, you looking for a job? You looking to work? They'll say, yeah, okay, you come on here and then you come work for me and I'll pay you at the end of the day. So that was the case here, right? But this parable is symbolic of the laborers, right, which are us, and the kingdom, which is the hire or the payment for the work that we're doing for the Lord. And so you're going to have different laborers, different workers that come in at different times, right? Some that, for example, you had the apostles, right, that came into this labor. And I'm referring to, back during Yahushai's time, early, right, in the beginning, when Yahushai called them. And then you had those that came later, like the apostle Paul, right? And you had other disciples and followers that came afterward. They would still get salvation, just like the apostles that came in before them, okay, which is that same penny. And so, in a nutshell, that's what this parable is going into. So as it says here, verse 2, and when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. That is the payment. So they agreed for a certain amount, and he said, I'll pay you that amount, and then you go and work for me. Again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise. And so the working day, right, the 6th hour would be around 12 noon, because you would have from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So from 6 a.m., the third hour would be what we would say 9 a.m. 3 hours from there would make it the 6th hour, which would be 12 noon. Another 3 hours from there would make it the 9th hour, which would be 3 p.m. And then eventually the sun will start going down. And then another 3 hours from there would be the 12th hour, which would be 6 p.m. And that's basically the evening. Now everybody's closed. So you had certain servants, right, that came in at different times. You had some that came in the 3rd hour, which is in the morning. You had some that came in the 6th hour in the afternoon. Some that came in the 9th hour around, late afternoon. And about the 11th hour, now you're about like 5 p.m., very close to the end of the day. He went out and found others standing idle, right? So you have, for example, in our time, you have the elders and apostles. They've been laboring for what, over 40 years? It's a long time. And then you have other brothers that have come in, maybe 10 years, 15 years, some even 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, right? But if we all endure, we'll all get that same salvation. So it says here, where we at? Verse 6, and about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, that is the overseer of his house, call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. So those that came in at the 11th hour, give them theirs. Those that came in at the 9th, then the 6th, then the 3rd. and they came that were hired about the 11th hour, and they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us. We have borne the burden and the heat of the day. We've been here since in the morning. We've been working through this heat. We've been laboring and laboring and laboring, and we get the same penny as them. They only work for 1 hour. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Is that not what we agreed on? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee. So I've decided to give them the same penny as I gave to you. That's the agreement I made with them. That's the agreement I made with you. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So you're upset because we made a deal. I honored the deal. I made a deal with them. I honored that deal. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. Okay, so you have many people that are called, but not all of them are chosen. Some labor for a while, and then the Lord makes it manifest that no, they weren't chosen. Okay, but also on the flip side, you will have different positions. You will have different rank. All right, like the apostles, right? They'll sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes. We'll all get salvation. We'll all be kings, right? And rulers, but there will be different ranks. But that's different, okay? Because the penny represents that salvation that we're all going to get. Verse 17. And Yahushua going up to Jerusalem took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles, which are the Romans, to mock and to scourge and to crucify him. And the third day he shall rise again. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons. So this is the mother of James and John, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on thy right hand and the other on the left in thy kingdom. So make them your second and third in command. But Yahushua answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. So you don't know what you're asking for. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. Now, remember, because he was referencing the sacrifice he would have to make, right? Are you able to do that? Are you able to go through what I'm about to have to go through? Because when you go to, because you mentioned here the cup, right, that he had to drink of. And now let's go to the book of Matthew, a couple chapters ahead, 26 and, So Matthew 26 and 39, when Yahushua was praying, right? It says here, and he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but thou wilt. So what was that cup? What he had to drink of, which was the sacrifice or the trial that he had to go through. In his case, being mocked, being crucified, and going through all that pain and suffering to be that sacrifice. Okay, so that was the cup that he would have to drink of. And the baptism, he also made reference to that. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how I am straitened till it be accomplished. So what was he referring to here? He was referring to that sacrifice that he would have to be, okay, and ultimately be mocked and crucified. So here he asked him, like, are you sure? Can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink of? And can you be baptized with the baptism I'm going to be baptized with? And that's why he said, you don't know what you're asking for. And so they say, yeah, we're able. And he saith unto them, Ye shall indeed drink of my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. Meaning that they would indeed go through sufferings and tribulation, right, of their own for his sake. It wouldn't be exactly what he went through, because only Yahushua could go through what he went through. But they would go through something similar or of their own. However, but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. So the Most High determines that. Okay, so who he has put in those positions are the ones that are going to be in those positions, right? That's not up to me to decide. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. So when they heard this, they were, who the man? You see these two guys over here talking about put us on your right and your left hand, and what about the rest of us? we just what, chopped liver? So they were pissed. And Yahushua called on to them and said, "Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. So let him be the servant among you. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister." Right? So just like Yahushua, which is our master, our Lord, didn't come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many, right? Which is that being the sacrifice for many, and those being Israelites. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men, sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Yahushua passed by, cried out, saying, "Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David." And the multitude rebuked them, because they should hold their peace. Hey, shut up, be quiet. But they cried the more, saying, "Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David." And Yahushua stood still and called them and said, "What will ye that I shall do unto you?" And you can understand why, right? They're like, "Yo, hold on. That's him. He can definitely heal us. This is we've been blind for God knows how long, and this is our one chance. We can't see where he is to go and follow him. So you think we're going to pass this up? Hell no. Scream at the top of your lungs." They say unto him, "Lord, that our eyes may be opened." So Yahushua had compassion on them and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. Damn. such impossible, what would seem like impossible problems just solved just like that. And that brings us to the end of the book of Matthew, the 20th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.